Every year, substance abuse claims thousands of lives, leaving families shattered and communities broken. In South Africa alone, over 20% of adults admit to abusing substances, an epidemic that is destroying the future of our youth. But in the heart of Binary, one man stands against this devastating wave. Meet Sibusiso Mthembu, a substance abuse expert, a community leader, an advocate who's making a difference where it matters most. In this video, I continue my conversation with Sibusiso. We dive deep into how he got into community development. He breaks down substance abuse and how one can recover from it. He also shares his thoughts on addiction, pornography, masturbation, and the critical need for sex education. To be honest, this was one of the most uncomfortable conversations I've ever had with a guest. This is the story of Sibusiso Mthembu, a fight for hope, healing, and a better tomorrow.
We move from you being in art, having achieved all these things that you have achieved. How do you then get into the space of community development?
I never even had in my mind which one day there was space like substance abuse. Like I've said, we also have our own challenges in life. Let's see, but now we face things, we are not perfect. There was time where I was not working and I had so much time, you know. A lady came to my house. We have an organization, and the skills up. We know that we have skills in terms of administration, and we want you to help us in an organization called Sibusiso Community Development. Sibusiso, even today in Pamsalasto, please come and assist us in terms of just preparing, get funding. So then I went to this space, my NPOs. Let's now mangfika kubo, the first thing I check, constitution yabo, filing system yabo, the objectives labana, like any person, lower kulele lokshini, lower kulele pinari. Somehow we all have experiments in terms of substances, even myself, So one of their objectives was substance abuse, GBV, life skills, and helping vulnerable children. And I said to them, what is it that we have done so far in terms of the objectives? They said to me, already in terms of the skills development, we are pushing. And in terms of GBV, we are there, but not that much. And substance abuse, we are lacking skills and training and the know-how. And I said, but I didn't know even if the Nasangaya exists, because the field so and then I had to ask, you have people with this training, but we went to an organization and requested training, but my training is about I said, which organization? They say it's a kind of okay. Somebody starts in the month, shown a con, assistant, and we went there and we met Marina Erasmus. In life, there are people who open doors for us, and we should not forget, whatever banda basindela just to create someone and I, all right, because we are facing a lot of challenges in South Africa, so we have to open doors for people. That is why in John Paul when we security man figure and fear con salute and the right, where the 7 shop right, yam being a right. So I said, no, it's fine, let's go. Must figure lady Utsigit, no, we don't have training, but most of my training will call you. Then there was an opportunity. Let's say they need one person to get trained. The same guys been thinking about access there, but we are aware with the training. Then I went to the training for the whole week on substance abuse, just to unpack the substance abuse, what is substance abuse, what we are seeing in the country and everything. Sharing on that platform and showing also ukuthi lalabangifundisa kona ngiyakhona ukukuva. And I was given an opportunity ukuthi manje ngibuye ngino-volunteer. So I'm coming from one organization, then volunteer going about assistant. Now this organization said, we saw something in you and we want to give you an opportunity to volunteer la. And even my qualifications now are work even at the field in the bank. And but no, we want you to come. So now I had to spend a week training this organization, Live and Save. Now, was not going to pull singing in a lady field, of which is new for me. There's a difference from experimenting on substances. There's a difference from using substances and being a professional in the field of substance abuse. And in Figalapa, they've got social workers, they've got social auxiliary workers and nurses. And now, I'm not even a social worker, near volunteer. The first thing that I should do, we've seen something that we were, prevention. So I have to be prepared for that and given their opportunity. And that's how I started. When I was field substance abuse. Yeah, it was late. I think it was around 2015 or so. Okay. Field there. So, but for you who want to advance in this field, you can either be a social worker or a social auxiliary worker. I understand them saying, the way but I don't want to sit in an office. I'm from there. I know it. I don't want to die inside the office in Kurmani Mundu. I want to be in a space where I can influence a change to a band, where I can challenge people. So, they don't have. But somehow, when we are bound with a pure heart and they see something, God will always create something. God will always create a space, even if Blessing Airport. They never had a community developer, but they created a space for community developer. They pay for my studies to go and the community development. And they've never done it even before. But because, Ugulungulu can also level a playing field if Mangabe or something. So that's why we always say there are things that are impossible to us, but to God they are not. That's how I started working for Isanda as a peer educator, then moving from being a peer educator to a junior community developer. From there, now I'm a prevention coordinator, lesser space leso, working with young people, Bandabatsala, in schools, in community, making sure that we give them facts when it comes to substance abuse, what we are seeing in the country, and it's painful. Recently, we have discovered that in inpatient centers, we started to admit now Bandwana from the age of 4 years. I think there's an increase at 28% from the age of 4 years to 13 years. And therefore there's a 50% increase from the age of 14 to 17. We are not talking about kids that we see they are using it, but now they need help in terms of mass substance abuse. So, ngila althando lami develop khona kakhulu to say, ayikho inoleminanzi when you are nurturing someone, share that information. The next day, in the office, ngihlala strategic in our meetings on Mondays, ngihlala facing in Ligede. Ayikho into lemnanzi uthi ukhulume nomuntu and wangacabanga ukuthi lo muntu uyakufa then umbona nge-negative ukuthi yo, and that's a fulfilling that is more than mholo, even if bathi ungabhatalwa 100,000, that fulfilling, it's more than anything. That's the only thing that propels you to work hard because lo muntu oyabengikhuluma naye nangiyambona. It's difficult in our field. Sometimes ungakhuluma nabantu labang 5,000 knowing what we have only touched impilo tebantu abayi-5. Because in our field, we don't change people. We plant seeds. And when you'll have to water that seed. And one day it will germinate. One day, leyo motivation, lengishilo kuwe. One day it will spark. Hey, by the way, Mamita Mundwad, so now I understand. Now I have a full understanding. With the I'm on substance abuse will bring limitations into my career, will bring limitations into my life, will bring the limitations even the family. Because substance abuse is a family disease. And I family ngathi asikaze sibe nomuntu la family was addicted into substances or who's abusing or who was affected by drugs. The entire South Africa.
Yeah.
Ayikho copy family engathazana. Maybe kungenteka lekho la, but we have a relative which is affected by substance abuse. That is why I feel that it's something that as a country we need to be concerned about. And young people that now banging kakhulu into substance abuse, banging kakhulu. And we need to find a way to deal with that. We need to invest into prevention because we are losing a lot of young people.
I want us to, while we're on that, I want us to break it down because there's a lot of terminologies that go around, but few people only bring them to their simplest form. If you can break it down in the most simplest form, what would you say is substance abuse?
Your substance abuse, I'm happy with talking about terminology because sometimes we say abuse, sometimes we say misuse. It is using a drug, for what it's not meant for. It is also when you are abusing a substance so that maybe you can get certain satisfaction, or you are using a substance because you want to cope with your situation. It might be using a substance because you want to self-medicate yourself, or either immediately when your using of substances now has negative effects into your life. Normally we say it's a drug or a chemical that is will bring changes into your life. It will bring changes also into your brain. It will bring changes into your family, in your social life. We're looking at why people are using it. There are 4 groups that we would let's categorize upon how people end up using substances. We have your psychological or either emotional, where we're looking at your thoughts and your feeling. How do you feel now? If I want to deal with the way how I feel now, if I'm sad and I'm looking for something that will make me feel better, to forget about what I'm dealing with now, already you are now abusing substances. Or I also talk about issues of biological. There are some of the people that are now, have an onset of substance abuse because of biological, so genetic. Your father or your grandfather was using substances. Now it went through the genes, and now so to tola or the day experimenta
through your genes.
Yeah, wow. The day that's an experiment and only to find that now ingaba worse because something that you have in you. Also, we have kids that are born with withdrawals. Withdrawals we are talking about now when the day we have not used drugs, when now the substances are moving out of your system, getting out of your system. If mangabe today alcohol, tomorrow ne papalaza. Papalaza is part of withdrawals because now how I feel it can be psychological and also physical. Someone who's using heroin, the day, because now most even some drugs, tolerance. The first time you drink alcohol, maybe not at 2, WhatsApp. The next time, ngeke kusacaba ngitho, you need more. So that means ubuilda ini i-tolerance yakho iyakhuphuka, your body now siyayijwayela le nto loyisebenzisayo. So that is where even noma umuntu kuthiwa ukuthi nangabe umntali wakho or let's say your mother use alcohol while a-preg, lo mntwana loyo kungenzeka atalwe ane-condition lesibita ukuthi fast fetal alcohol syndrome. Angatalwa nema-withdrawals because le nto lebekayithola through the umbilical cord, through the placenta, iya imnarisha, iya kuye just like kudla, nangabe makakudla adla kudla nomntwana uyakuthola ngaphakathi. The same thing makelelanga nathi alcohol within 20 minutes ingiphakathi kwemntwana. If bekubuildeka i-central nerve system, that will be damaged. If bekubuildeka ama-brains, it will be damaged. If bekubuildeka ama-limbs, ngiwo latolimala. Uthola ukuthi umntwana masakhula one ngenteka angabi put esikolweni, sigcina umntwana siyamlebula as a slow learner, kanti umntwana ngasiso slow learner ngoba makwanatha tshwala aseseswini sakhe. Lo mntwana loyo uyokhula with difficulties, not even understanding themselves in the right way. Bangakhoni ukuthi bakhona ukusebenza, they will fall into cracks, ngabakhona ukuphasa esikolweni. They will always have ama-difficulties lakhona in terms of i-condition yabo, even in terms of i-behavior, because mabe wanatha asesiswini. So kubalulekile ukuthi mangabe into ibe khona, we know ekhaya there's a history of someone bekanatha kakhulu ekhaya, that we try to play away, from substances, because ngendeka masikufika thina ube worse because already in our genes ikhona, yabo. So that is substance abuse when using substances, then bese later in. When we talk about issues of addiction, it's something that lengayifiseli bekusitsa, because when young people are using substances, they don't think about the consequences. They don't think about the tolerance that they are building, and that in the next future you might find yourself being addicted. Addiction is a brain disease that cannot be cured, but we only treat and manage. Just like any chronic illness, sugar diabetic, now I need to check my behavior, I need to check what I eat. The very same thing with addiction. Once you are addicted, now we are talking about one, it's a permanent illness, of which, yes, we do have people that recover from it, and be able to claim through the program that we are running through aftercare. Also, we are talking about a condition that will hinder the function of the brain. That means your brain will no longer function in the right way. As a young person, we normally say you should not use drugs until the age of 25 years, because your brains are still developing physically and mentally until the age of 25. So that means if you don't engage into substances, you are giving yourself an opportunity to mature in the right way, your brain cells also to grow in the right way, your cognitive task also will in the right. But once you start using, also that means you are delaying also the development of your brains. You might also have issues when it comes to decision making, to know what is right and what is not right, what is now important, what is that I have to prioritize. If I have money, what is it that I need to do? The first thing that you think, I need to go and use, and then to use it in the right way. Also academically, so when now you have challenges in terms of your memory, the memory is not working in the right way, your concentration also in the class, it's no longer perfect. So that's why we are trying to make sure that people are not addicted, because once they start using, they don't understand that there are these consequences that we might also see. We see young people also in terms of looking at colleges, universities, who are being drinking. When you talk about social drinking, it's using substances, especially alcohol, because the other substances, you cannot do social use in terms of them, but we're talking about alcohol after the age of 25 years. We are saying you can use alcohol in a social way, in a responsible way. We are talking about you knowing your limit, making sure that only use in one occasion, and when I use in that occasion, how much do I take? When you talk about binge drinking, even if it was in one occasion, but we are talking about someone that will take more than 5 drinks, in one occasion. Already now it's danger because it's binge drinking. When you say a person is a heavy drinker, we are talking about the person that drinks more than 5 occasions, even if it's in a year, but you use more than 5 occasions and more than 5 drinks in that occasion, So we need to be careful. But for anyone under the age of 25 years, we're talking about zero tolerance, that they should not even start using into alcohol or any substances. If it's dacha, it removes motivation, it's psychotic. Now we see more young people going to facing issues of depression, anxiety. We know that young people are facing a lot of challenges, and I also something that I also want to mention at home for parents to understand that young people are facing a lot of challenges outside. It might be at school where there's a pressure in terms of the work that they do at school, pressure even from their own peers, that pressure also from issues of social media and what. So there's a number of things that young people are facing. And adults, they don't understand it as parents. We don't understand it as stress, facing issues. But we are. We've got cheese, the free cheese, and the transport like then we have stress and immediately when it's proven with anxiety or either depression, then there's a issue of stigma. Nenga samthulu lo ngoba niyamali sangatibulala noma ngini or nginike ngale njanja. So we are pushing more pressure people than understanding what's going on. So we need families where now to encourage ukuthi akusidleni life together, akusidleni supper together, no phones siwabekelele emaceleni. Let us also listen to young people bakhuluma ukuthi enama-challenge esikoleni, enamhla bangibhulishile esikoleni. Understanding ukuthi lo mntwana njengoba ngibhulishiwe kungeneka angisayi esikoleni, ngithande esikoleni because kune-issue lekhona esikoleni, kunabo-gangsterism labakhona esikoleni. I need to take this serious. I'm running low for 50 million salary for one day and go and attend issues and run. The psychological needs, but they need to take care of that. Paying attention. Maubuya run benjani ngalapho namhla uhambe njani ungambuthi ukuthi wena homework care, but wena inside are you present, not only financially but emotionally you are also present to because if you are not there, somebody something because there are no coping skills. That's why we have programs. Last time I about positive parenting, positive when you say when we talk about responsibilities and as you should responsibility when you homework responsibility. So batali basebenza bavutheni bayemsebenzini buya nayithini une-stress sakhe akhohlwe ngalo mntwana lo khona la ekhaya naye lo ne-challenge yakhe makabuya ubuya nane-stress lesakhe akakhoni ukudebrief abuke ukuthi okay manje ngifike endlini akengithatha stress sami sasemsebenzini ngisibeke eqeleni nangu lo mntwana ngimlethe emhlabeni, now I need to listen kulo mntwana lo ukuze ukuthi lo mntwana lo angive nami ngimuve ukuthi unjani. When you talk about issues like imali, bantwana ba-understand until you make them understand. Beka phasi budget yasekhaya, this is what I'm getting ekhaya. So uthi wena ufuna ama-gadgets, ufuna i-PlayStation, with this money, I can only afford the PlayStation after tinyanga tingaka. And I can only afford the sneaker after tinyanga tingaka. And whatever that you promise you, make sure what you deliver in terms of that. Unga promise those bantwana. Because now come on, I should mama, angitshela mama. Mama unemanga kakhulu. Mama hlala promise. The things that teachers are facing in school. Substance abuse is something that should be on the table. Do you know about popcorn zone? What is happening in school and stuff? How do you navigate towards the mathematics? And how do you stay strong? Appreciate little things. Ungene bantu bakho choose umntwana ungazuthi lo umthanda kakhulu udlula loyo. Make sure ukuthi even into yami ihlele lo mntwana lo, but I appreciate labanye. Even if benza something lencane, ngikwazi ukusho ukuthi ngiyakubona wende lokho, ngiyabonga washo English. Ungakhombisi ukuthi ngithanda lo yakubona. So that is very important.
There's a lot of young people who are addicted to things like your pornography, your masturbation, because I feel like the culture of social media is really pushing that today. Do you guys get clients who are struggling with that, and if you do, how do you guys help them navigate such issues?
Okay. So we do get clients, but we must remember that also in terms of substance abuse, it's not always substance abuse.
Yeah.
There's always, another condition that people maybe that drive them to start using drugs. So we collaborate with also other stakeholders that we work with. So whatever that we don't deal with, we refer to other organizations to deal with that.
Okay.
So there's a number of organizations that we work with, others through a diversion program. If like an issue of behavior, then we'll send it to like your organization like NECRO. But we do get them and also find a way that how we can assist. But I think some of the things is in an issue of finding identity, especially with young people.
Yeah.
We tend to look for role models within different spaces, and not understanding why those people ended up dressing in that way, why their image is like that, and then they also want to do it, on to find that maybe the environment doesn't maybe allow it, or either the culture doesn't allow it, to find them maybe like, let's say, dressing like half naked, also because they just want to look like someone, So
that's what the social media is also pushing these days. Yeah.
So it's much better that you find your own identity, not maybe to borrow or either to steal someone's identity, because you don't know what pushed them maybe to end up doing like that.
Yeah.
Then there's issue of masturbation. I think we still need an issue of culture to come in, and we are now more adopting other people's culture, and we don't have those people that will tell us how to deal with an issue, especially as a young man when you come to that. But if you look at it professionally, remember that also issues of masturbation, it's more in terms of also people that who are in the early stage of adolescent, where they are trying to protect themselves, trying to deal also with their feelings, and it does not have that much addiction in terms of masturbation until that person maybe will do it, even if maybe they are now old and they cannot live without that. But there are no effects, that maybe, let's say, negative healthy effects in terms of that. But unless maybe those people, they now do it in a certain way. If you talk about issues of abstinence, masturbation, most of the people will use it as a way to abstain, because you are a human being, you deal with emotions, And also sometimes some of them, when they do it, it's not about just them, but to relieve also, themselves mentally.
Yeah.
After that, they might feel better also. So, but we need to find a balance, in
Yeah.
terms of doing it as a young person, in trying to abstain, because there's some of the things that you can deal with, but some of the things also issues of porn that can
Yeah.
also lead to masturbation, because you are also seeing it. Porn it's a dangerous addiction in such a way. Some of the people, even if when they are old, some of their relationship cannot function
Yeah.
because of porn, because now it's more like they want to substitute, other ways than using
Ubonela pha,
porn,
you want to-
because we lapha and might, so believela lapha. There are other people that cannot even get to be erected without looking at or watching porn. Then now they can go and have sex. So because babone porn. So it's very, very dangerous, because it's something that needs to happen naturally. But also that's one of the things that drive young people to also to use alcohol, because it lowers their inhibition, especially on their first occasion in terms of sex. They don't know what is going to happen there. It's their first time. They want to hide it, and then they will use alcohol because maybe ufuna kufihla amahloni, akade ukuthi wefika ubukane nani lapha, so ufuna kusebenzisa alcohol ukuze ukuthi angakhoni ukudila nale situation leya lapha, especially also with girls, because akade. So we need to have more in terms of sex talk, to understand what is going to happen.
Yeah.
And also to that young people, especially young adults, I'll talk about young adults,
Yeah.
who are now ready in terms of sexual activities, that you need to have a partner, someone that you talk about issues, that we are not scared to talk about issues. You might find that in a relationship, the boy is new into this thing,
Yeah.
and the girl maybe is exposed, So how do you find balance that you talk about it, instead of maybe like having like shame to talk about that? And that is why some of them, you find that they might even go and buy certain enhancers or either stimulants,
Yeah.
So that they can do it. The same thing also to adult. When now they want to have sex with, let's say, with someone different.
Yeah.
We have this first expression that we want to live, which is
Share,
then you end up ulanza bompesu, ulanza bo silver bullet, ulanza in, because you live to the layer, but all to find that the performance is no longer there.
Angohlala usebenzisa
Yabo,
phela.
ngoba ngeke uhlale uyisebenzisa, you are not, it's no longer you. Yabo, i-performance ayisekho. Then ucala ngale ndlela ongayo, and find ways to work with each other. We are not machines, we are human beings, we find ways ukuthi okay, smoke sakhula bekuwa kuthiwa kuhlalwa esamweni, kuhlalwa emsamo, kuhlalwa kuphi kuphi, toba nabantu abadala, you talk about this, they will tell you this is how you can deal with it. As young people, our source of information yibo sokwaba social media. You are going to have sex for the first time, funa ngicheckeni YouTube. Ngiyabona in for the first time, funa ngichecke in, checke lo before ngihambe ngiyoyenda lento leyo. Kunemona so ngiyaqala ukupheka liphalish, angichecke liphekwa njani liphalish. So now we have a certain source, but labantu abandlule kuyo lento asakhona ukuthi sihlale nabo. Hence earlier besikhuluma ngama-father figure nani bomkhulu, irole yabo labadlala emakhaya, that they need to discuss issues like that. Bakhona ukulihlolisa and understand ukuthi hayi kutoba so udosima ungene lapha kutawendeka lokhu, and this is how you can embrace yourself and funa kweneke njalo. We don't have my platforms allow, and those are platforms that need a safe space, as for especially for young people. Get someone who's matured, who will take them through the process and understand, and also issue reproductive health, you know, how to take care of yourself. Uhambe isibhamu sakho udubula ukhomba noma nguphi ukhomba noma nguphi what will happen nangabe uhamba udubula. In a later stage you are married, unemntwana, sekuvela lawa amabhuleti lawa athi mhlawumbe labo hamba ushiya khona base phela lapha washiya libhuleti lapha washiya libhuleti, and now you are a doctor uhola imali sekufika umuntu lo wena bothi uyadlala afika athi kule yamali oholako ngicela 10,000 ngifuna ukukhulisa umntwana wakho wamshiya. So we need to be kind of responsible, sifundiseke about it so that we know, okay, I can do this, but be safe. So alcohol enhances sexual desire, and now you are not ready for that. That's why when they go for sex, not nuts, because it enhances their sexual desire. The issue of unprotected sex, yes, I say, I believe you was song, type, but when you are drunk, good data.
Yeah.
Nalo dance. Namun but kabanga to peel out don banging sangalena, but near long open that sea of words and work.
True.
So the issue identity for young people, they tend to borrow from other people. If I learn hip hop, they tend to borrow from certain people, and only to find out lausala corner. I saw him. So how do you now find a way? I'm happy about how South Africa transform ngayo bandu embracing culture yabo and doing even whether maybe it's hip hop, but putting the net, you know, putting language yabo. So logo kuyakhona kwakha ukuthi okay, I can be creative. Yeah. Hip hop is not about only the Western style, but kona like kaya, ngailetha kona like kaya, embrace, ngiende ibe like kaya. So you need to find yes, we can learn from people, but after that, find your own identity so that you can go to man. Sesike sakubona mhloko ubani why ngazuthi ukope kuye why ngazuthi kunjani. I always say to people that a good man learn from his mistake, but a wise man learn from other people's mistake. You know, ungazuthi uyekele into izifike la kuwe bona le ngaphandle ngibabonile bena lo. I've seen a number of young people losing them to more issues of mean, you know, because kunama artists leswabonako.
It's the coolest thing right now.
Exactly, about like anything that is trending, we go for it with our eyes closed. And there's hardly public. Everyone's going for it with our eyes closed, not understanding. Like say, session le one happy, manga bengi 70 le happy, fanotin peme 100 cigarette in one session. Because as call researcher and check was then imagine and dive up in inani. So we just type in it is vape. I also want to do it. As phone check, I would see my implications, my consequences, because each and every time when you are building a wall between when and the future. Wow. It's so painful when atimundu bube ngalalela bobane ngaba angola yabo. Now you are learning from your own mistakes rather than learning from other people's mistakes. Salala yapina siyabona abantu abasebenzisa bonya upe. But still there's someone wants to try it. I was say ngibonile sibhele bani drop out beka. I don't want that to happen to my life. So ngona ngayichuni right there. Yabo, but awuyaqhubeka ufuna kuyithuna naye. Na ufuna kuyibona ukuthi into wendekayo. And also kuye kuba wesi kakhulu. Then we are left with scars in our life. Lawa nomuhamba ngendeka mhlambe lamanye swakhohle, but lamanye mascars our colleague, it's always no muhamba. Even if no masoshintile unjani, but still kunathi noba ukukhombangathi ukuthi asiyakwatwe. Phela lokho abalphara lo. Phela lokho wenda ukuthi ukuthi phela lo. So those are the scars that are there. Yabona ngaliphepha ngalithatha manje neliplay ngilishwile. Yabo, it's like the words that we say to people. So that's why we need to try to be nice to other people. Because words they are like a bullet. Once you release a bullet, angeke ulivimbe ukuthi alibuyele emuva. And if you say something bad to people, kufanele uthathe liphepha walishwila, yabo, manje sothi sorry, ngifuna kulula liphepha, alibuyeli libuyele ngale ndlela leyo. So naleyo life yalo muntu loyo ngeke ibuyele. But if bazama, let us encourage that. So it's okay, bani stage sakhe sokurecover, asimlekelele na recover. And I'm happy South Africa, it's a country lekwaxolelana. It's a country lekwathi ukuthi abantu bekaso but manje so. So we need to learn that, and also with our young people. Bayawena amaphutha. Let us understand because this is a mistake, and sizame ukubalungisisa. Singaphinde simkhomba ngale phutha lalendeka lela. And that is why we see most people bangakhona ukubuyela recover from substance abuse or either bonyawupe, because it's masimbona hey wena nyawupe, but he's no longer there. So those are the things that we need to change in our country.
Just an example, there's a young person right now who's watching, who's in their journey to recover, register maybe with Sanka or any organization. What are the habits that you'd say they should start developing in terms of, making sure that they detox, they get better, and they get ready for, their future?
I would say always be selfish with yourself. Don't please people. Find healthy coping skills, and this is a journey. A rehab center is not a place of miracles and salama magicians. It's your journey, and we are there just to plant a seed. Allow them to plant a seed. I was in a situation, and one day while I was in that situation, I was in a church. A pastor said, in order for you to step up, you must step out of the situation. Step out of those friends. Because now so just step out for a certain period. But I'm trying to fix my life. Right. In that way, you will step up. But if you say environment, strong. So I'll always, encourage bandu with but selfish now for your life, then the rest because it's a process. Yeah. Allow people to direct you, allow people to plant, but also make sure you learn new habits like corner. Because it's a trigger. You might be triggered to no BL. If I know what about the money, I need to find a way to manage emailing and right. Not tool it so no man the first thing, are you ready? Prepare yourself mentally. You're ready to start the step. You're ready to go the journey. You're ready with someone would say, you know what? Because we are dealing with people with lives. So addiction, it's a condition. So when you addicted, but now alcohol. Yeah. And ileta in go. Nyagwetu mundu lo simbona nyalo ngazuthi ula. So awuboni wena. So ufuna umthole indlela wamkhombisa ngayo ungathi hayi wena usizaba wena uya in edit. Munda akasizaba, it's a condition lebakhona. Kunetile kwakhona. So ufuna sibokwazi ukuthi we need to be ethical in dealing with people, also to show them love and support, but also akufuneka ukuthi umuntu simspoon feed. Funa umuntu simallow ukuthi ayihambe le journey yena ayi-one. This is my journey. I nemndeni wami can be there morally to support me. They can be there maybe financially to support me. But ungayendi just because you are doing it for your parents. Because you are doing it for someone else. Or mama uthi utongithengela ini nangidoba clean. Or bani uthi utongithengela ini. You will never get clean because you are doing it for someone. Do it for yourself and be selfish.
But you are nominated at the Sunrise Excellence Awards under the Community Builder of the Year. Congratulations. First of all, I am happy that you are finally getting the recognition that I believe that you deserve. How important is this for you?
Sure, I'm honored. I'm humbled kakhulu with this recognition. Ayikho into lebuhlungu that you will be recognized in other provinces than ekhaya la ubuyakhona. So for me to be recognized ekhaya, I think kubaluleke kakhulu. It's a motivation. Someone to say, we see you. Umsebenzi wakho siyawubona lo wendako. Akuvamanga kwendeka esikhathini esiningi. It's only people that are close to you. It's only people that you deal with. It's only maybe emsebenzini who people are checking with professionally and your growth. But for outside, for people to say, nominate and the nominator to go to the final, and then people started to support, that is big.
It's something.
It propels you to do better. It propels you now to go an extra mile, knowing so we get incentives emsebenzini uyadinga umsebenzi ngiyabhadalwa for umsebenzi wendawo as a professional. But when other people say, hey, siyakubona, but ngiyakupusha, so I'm very humbled and ngibonga kakhulu kubo bonke abantu abangisupportayo, and those labacabanga ukuthi mhlambe banganginominate for this. Iyanginceda kakhulu, iyangikhulisa also on the field, because in field the substance abuse not exciting as it told us also. It's one field that is not even recognized, even when it comes to funding, GPV funding, HIV and AIDS funding, and we fail to understand that we see substance abuse, it's a catalyst to drive GPV and HIV AIDS by almost 70%. So le feel le kuyo, if the bantu labafika bathi siyakubona umsebenzi wakho, but it's a booster oyitholako. So ndoba ngisho ukuthi I don't take it for granted ukuthi nje nginominative. So ngiyabonga kakhulu for what the community and those people bakwenda. Yes, bona kumlilo laba ubaselako, because now we are anxious. You want to know what's going to happen. But give me, I think nomination, it's bigger than the award. So it's bigger than that. Just what's nominative.
I'm really happy for you, but I would really like also for you to tell everyone how do they vote so that we get those votes. As much as the nomination is more important than the reward, we just want the reward now. So how does people vote for you?
I think the system lele khona for voting. Emakhaya, the number is ABMF 43, and they can SMS to 40439.
We'll put the card there.
So it's 2 rand. So if someone jacabanga a time at the front, I should go to the 2 rand law. I'm supporting this person from Sebendua Kalawendile, and they can also deposit money, cash.
Okay.
But so far, I'm humbled. So anyone of Najogon Yami number it's APMF 43, and the SMS by SMS Lago 40439.
Let's go and keep voting. We are doing it for Ipinari, we are doing it for Mpumalanga. I don't know if you'd like to, you have something that we haven't covered that you'd like to, mention to the audience?
Not that much, but I would say, as a community, I wish we can all pull together in terms of substance abuse. It's an issue for me. It's a thorn issue, especially in our country. Manga from any organization la kona. Ubona abantu bahleli estradini, young people bahleli somewhere abendi lutho. Come with an initiative, whether mhlambe just for bona to keep them busy laba kona. That's my appeal ukuthi akusimuntu ngoba aba addicted because bafuna, or either they lack mhlambe any initiative or they lack a character. A number of situations that push abantu ukuthi babe addicted. If you see them, do something, support them morally, make sure you create platforms for them ukuthi benze something ngesikhathi sabo. The more isikhathi sabo babhizi ngaso, the more nabo baba productive. So ngiyacela nje ukuthi asibasupporteni. Kubantu abadala, please pay attention to your kids. Make sure ukuthi uyabati letidzingo tabo psychologically understand. So ngiwo nje ngafuna ukusho kakhulu.
Thank you so much, Bhuti, for coming through. Again, I appreciate you. You are doing well. You are doing so much for our community. I really appreciate the work that you do. What are your contact details where people can reach you?
Okay, so let me just start with my contact details from Sanka. I'll see 082-451-3226. Ngatholakala khona Sanka, or either you can go to Facebook. It's Sanka Lofeld. My details, it's 076-905-3636. Ngitholakala khona, or you can get me on my social media. Sibusiso Mthembu, ngilaba ngithola khona. Then we can talk. They can invite me, whether I'm trying just to, talk to young people, esondweni, anyway, large the young people bahlangane khona, bangakhona ukuthi bang-invite sibone ukuthi senanjani.
Thank you so much, Bhuti. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I really appreciate it. Please make sure to like, subscribe, drop any feedback, connect with Sibu, connect with myself on social media. We really appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one.